Hello, it's been a while, hasn't it? Just to jump straight into it, I have moved my studio again, and it's now even larger and a little bit better organised, but I'll go into that in another video. I've been hired to score a silent film for a showing at the Hyde Park Picture house in December, 14th of December if you fancy it. I'll be doing a live electronic score with samples of the equipment and also some machines I've built specifically for it, which are controlled electromechanically and will be creating noise alongside the electronic score. But anyway, I'm trying to build up the bed of the score at the minute, and I've decided to use mainly the electronic sound sources and music concrete sources I've got available to me here, and then I'll worry about the other stuff, the machines, later. So just to begin with, the film is about a strongman who is basically in love with another circus performer who's got a fear of arms and men's hands because they're always pawing at her. And there's also a character who starts off as quite a sympathetic character but turns into a villain, whose whole act involves not having any arms and doing things like knife throwing and, you know, smoking and all that kind of thing. So he's really in love with this woman as well, who hates arms, and he well, I won't ruin it, but yeah, it's very weird and it's all very arm focused. So I've been tasked with scoring the film, and I'm gonna get started with the scene where the strongman is doing his act. He doesn't really look like a strongman by today's standards, but I suppose things were different back then. Just having enough food to eat was probably difficult. But for this scene, I'm going to use the ever popular metal lampshade because it's very resonant. Everyone who does this sort of music seems to have one. But there's a scene where the strongman's doing his act. Obviously he's lifting dumbbells, bending iron bars, that kind of thing, so something metallic would sound good. I'm going to do the standard trick of recording it at a high speed, so 15 inches a second on this machine, and then half it, and then use the variable speed to wobble it about, because it does some bending of a bar, so wobbly pitch changes will probably be quite a good thing to include. So I've not got a particular structure for this at the minute. The scene itself is only about 2 minutes long, and it's just him doing some feats of strength, and I'm just going to get some material, throw it at the wall and see what sticks really. So I'm just going to record some of me hitting this with a rubber gaffer tape. Using a proper beat, it was a bit too sharp on the attack, and I want this to be kind of a nice sonorous, very harmonic sound rather than a percussive sound. So here we go. I'm just using this Revox A77. It's got a lovely variable speed mod, and I'm doing this at 15 inches a second for the recording. I just need to adjust that. Some of that will be usable. Everyone loves a lampshade. Delia Derbyshire had an expensive industrial one at the Radiophonic Workshop. I got mine for about £3 off eBay, and it's not quite as nice and rather small, but it's good enough. So let's have a listen. So I'm sure you can hear that's quite distorted. I thought that might sound good, but actually it's a bit too much. So I'm going to re-record that with a bit less gain. Kind of interesting, but a bit too messy and indistinct really. It's amazing how quickly you get out of practice using these. I've not really touched them for a few months while I've been busy building the fairground organ, and now I've come back to it. I can't remember how to do it. They're all a little bit broken and have their own idiosyncrasies that you have to know. Right, here we go again. That seems fine. Just going to try and get this inside it. There we go, hopefully that's a little bit less distorted. Be prepared for this to be just as bad as the last one. I am very out of practice. That sounds basically like what I wanted, so I may do another take, but I'm going to record that onto some tape to commit it, so I can have a mess about with cutting it up. Right, so I'm going to overdub what I've recorded onto this tape machine, so that I can then do more things with it, such as cutting it up. So please enjoy the side of my face and me messing around with the pitch on this tape. So I'm going to start this one going, and here we go. Okay, so I've recorded the wibbly wobbly metallic sound onto this tape, and now I'm going to dub onto another tape but print some effects on top. So I'm going to add some delays that I'm going to record myself messing with over here. It's a little bit broken, which is good because it means it doesn't actually work unless you press down really hard on one of these buttons, so I can get a kind of cutting in and out effect. So I am too cheap to replace it, even though it's probably the cheapest thing I own. I think it was about 20 quid new. Yeah, some of this stuff is a bit more than that, but I refuse to sort it. I'm just going to keep using it, even though it doesn't really work. So yeah, I'm going to set up another tape machine now to dub from here onto another tape with some effects recorded, and then I can chop that up, reverse it, do whatever I like with it, with the effects in place. Obviously this isn't a very hi-fi setup. There's loads of noise getting added, loads of degradation every time I make a copy, but I like that. So, you know, if I didn't, I'd just do it digitally. we go. I run out of tape at a good moment. So that was pretty noisy, wasn't it? Some of that was clearly the very distorted version that I first recorded, but I quite liked that chaotic bit. Won't really work for the scene I'm working on, but I'm going to save that for later on in the film. There's a couple of moments that need something very dramatic, so not wasted. Weird, isn't it? It's just a horrible, horrible noise, but very much like it. So I'll spare you this boring bit. I'm going to chop this up, stick it back together, and see if I can get it to fit with the actual scene. Anyway, that was just a quick video just to sort of get my hand back in the game a bit. I'll try and keep you updated in case you are interested in watching me score this film. It's very long, it's about an hour and 20 long. Black and white silent film from 1927. I'll post a link to the Wikipedia. Just been restored, and Hyde Park Picture House in Leeds are doing a screening on the 14th of December, and I will be providing an electronic score augmented by some electromechanical machines I'm building. You may have seen I was building a fairground organ before, which is why I've not really been in here. Well, I'm building some machines specifically for this show that link back to the history of the Picture House. When it first opened, they had a pianist, a violinist and a cellist, and the machines I build are going to be loosely based around those three instruments, so a bit difficult to explain it. I'll go into a bit more detail over the next couple of months as I build it, so please do keep checking back if you want to see me kind of droning on and working out my thought process out loud. I'll do a little tour of the studio in another video. It's not that different from stuff that you may have seen before, just better organised now. Anyway, bugger off.